Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. I'm really thrilled you're joining us today because we're going to talk about something that can fundamentally change how you think about aging, movement, and, most importantly, your own independence. Look, if you've been feeling like staying active is just getting too complicated, maybe a bit intimidating, or honestly just plain uncomfortable, you are in exactly the right place. So, take a deep breath, relax, and let's explore a much smarter, simpler way to keep your body moving. All right, let's dive right into this.
So think for a second about what the ultimate, most accessible exercise for someone over 60 might be. What actually comes to mind? For a lot of us, we immediately picture crowded gyms, clanking heavy weights, those expensive stationary bikes, or maybe complicated fitness classes that make you feel like you need a degree in physiology or, a pair of neon spandex just to even participate. But what if the absolutely most useful form of exercise didn't require any of that stuff?
Well, the answer is walking. Yep, just walking. Now, before you roll your eyes and dismiss this as way too simple to count as a real workout, stick with me for a minute. There is a huge, vital difference between just puttering around the house to grab a cup of coffee and actually using walking as a purposeful, consistent part of a healthy aging routine. Purposeful walking is a highly effective tool, but we really need to know how to use it right.
To get us there, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll cover the power of walking. Second, busted, common fitness myths. Third, building your movement team. Fourth, strategies for safe movement. Fifth, the healthy aging framework. And finally, number 6, finding your personal reason. Let's get started.
Section 1. The power of walking. Accessible and adjustable.
So why is this specific movement so incredible? Simply put, because it is infinitely accessible and completely adjustable to you. Major health organizations like the CDC and the National Institute on Aging heavily support walking because it totally reframes our expectations. We really need to let go of this idea that exercise is all about athletic glory. For many adults over 60, the true goal of exercise is just staying strong enough to get out of a deep chair comfortably, carry your own groceries, travel, play with your grandkids, and above all, remain as independent as possible. Because at the end of the day, independence is the real trophy here.
Moving on to Section 2, Busted, Common Fitness Myths. Let's lower that barrier to entry.
Over the years, the fitness industry has created these incredibly intimidating rules about what actually counts as a workout, right? We're constantly told we literally have to hit exactly 10,000 steps, sweat heavily, or grind through a 30-minute continuous session for it to even matter. But the senior-friendly reality is so much kinder and honestly more effective. A comfortable pace absolutely counts, and breaking your movement up, that is perfectly fine. If someone tells you that you need 30 uninterrupted minutes, change the question. Instead of asking yourself, can I exercise for 30 minutes, just ask, can I move for 10 minutes? A 10-minute walk in the morning, one after lunch, and one in the evening adds up beautifully.
So, the absolutely crucial takeaway here is this. Your starting point is exactly that, yours. Please, whatever you do, do not compare your walking routine with your neighbors or with what some fancy fitness tracker says you should be doing. One person might walk 3 miles a day, while someone else might need a cane and walk for just 5 minutes at a time. And you know what? Neither of them is doing it wrong. Your only measure of progress should be against where you were yesterday, not where someone else happens to be today.
All right, Section 3, Building Your Movement Team. Walking is just the beginning.
Now, walking is an absolute powerhouse, for sure, but as our bodies age, they have different jobs to perform. So walking alone is fantastic, but it's actually just one player on a much larger team. Think of your physical health kind of like a pie divided into 3 equal slices. Your heart and lungs need endurance, which is exactly what walking gives you. But your muscles also need resistance, that's the strength slice. And your nervous system needs practice, and that's the balance slice. You wouldn't want a sports team made up of only one type of player, right? Well, you don't want an exercise routine that only trains one part of your body either.
And when we talk about strength, just forget all the gym terminology. You do not need to become a competitive bodybuilder. It is all about everyday strength. We're talking about the physical capacity to pull yourself out of bed, safely navigate a flight of stairs, carry a heavy bag of soil out to the garden, or step confidently over a weird, uneven curb. Combining your walking routine with some simple, safe strengthening movements is exactly what gives you this everyday power.
Which brings us to Section 4, Strategies for Safe Movement. Addressing pain and fear.
We definitely have to address the elephant in the room here, pain and the fear of falling. These are very, very real concerns that keep a lot of older adults from ever starting a routine. If there is one single phrase I want you to remember from this entire explainer to combat those fears, it's this: adapt, don't quit. A little muscle fatigue? Totally normal when you try something new. But if your knees are hurting every single time you walk, that is not a signal to just give up movement completely. It's simply a signal that you need to find a better way to move. Maybe you need different shoes, maybe a softer surface, or maybe you swap a walk for a lower impact activity like swimming a couple of days a week. Listen to your body. Definitely consult a healthcare professional for persistent pain, but remember, the answer is rarely to stop moving entirely.
To adapt successfully, we really have to control our environment. Pay attention to common fall risks: uneven sidewalks in the neighborhood, loose throw rugs in the house, poor lighting, or cluttered hallways. The goal isn't just to walk more, it's to move more safely. So clear your path. And please, invest in some comfortable shoes. They don't have to be the most expensive pair on the market, but honestly, if your feet hurt after just 10 minutes, you simply won't want to walk tomorrow.
Here is a wonderful, simple strategy to make movement safer and just far more enjoyable. Walk with someone. Turn your walk into a real social connection. Call up a spouse, a neighbor, or a family member. When you combine physical activity with social support, you're literally solving two problems at once. You get your movement in, and you stay connected. If you hate exercising alone, just change the environment. Make it a conversation.
Okay, Section 5, the Healthy Aging Framework, a simple strategy.
Let's organize all of this into a really concrete, doable strategy. Step 1, start safely today with whatever you can manage, even if that's literally just 5 minutes. Step 2, build gradually. Add a minute here, maybe an extra day there. Step 3, strengthen those everyday muscles we talked about. Step 4, practice your balance appropriately, keeping a sturdy chair nearby if you need it. And Step 5, repeat consistently. You don't need some grueling, awful workout. You just need a routine that your body can slowly adapt to over time. Because consistency, it always beats intensity.
And this brings us to a deeply important, reassuring reminder. At 60, 70, or 80 years old, your body is just not going to respond to exercise exactly the way it did at 30. And you know what? That is perfectly okay. Needing a longer warm-up, requiring shorter sessions, or needing to take a few more rest days does not mean your body is failing you. It just means you need a different, wiser strategy now. Validate where you are right now.
Finally, Section 6, finding your personal reason. Why we move. So, we've talked a lot about mechanics and safety, but truthfully, none of that matters without the emotional motivation behind it. A lot of folks wait around to feel this magical burst of motivation before they finally put on their walking shoes. But here's a little secret. Action actually comes first. You do not have to feel excited to start. You just need to make that first step small enough that you're actually willing to do it. Just tell yourself you'll go for a 5-minute walk. More often than not, once you're actually moving, the motivation catches up with you. The habit gets easier because you stop negotiating with yourself every single morning. But to keep taking that action day after day, you really need to know your why. What is it for you? Is it to have the stamina for a vacation you've been dreaming about? Is it to be able to keep up with your grandkids in the backyard? Or is it simply to feel sturdy and confident walking across an icy parking lot in the winter? When exercise has a deeply personal meaning to you, it becomes so much more than just hitting a number on a smartwatch. You aren't moving because you love exercise, you're moving because you love your life.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this one question to think about today. Why do you want to move? Find that reason, hold on to it tightly, and let it fuel your very first step. Just start where you are, move safely, build gradually, and keep going. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I absolutely cannot wait to see where your next step takes you.